Hi, it's Taylor T. Carlson, and I'm back with another video for you. Getting back into rock and roll today because it's been far too long since I covered any music-related releases on here. And today we're going to be taking a look at this. Humble Pie. Life and Times of Steve Marriott plus 1973 complete Winterland show. Here's the back cover as well. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little unboxing. Got some photos inside the first inner sleeves, and then inside we've got over here a list of content, Blu-ray disc, DVD disc, and CD disc. Steve Marriott, if you're not immediately familiar with him, he was the vocalist of The Small Faces and Humble Pie. This is a guy who played in a lot of excellent bands, put out some great music. I mean, there were all kinds of classic tracks that came from both of these bands. The Small Faces, of course, after Marriott left, would later become The Faces, which featured Rod Stewart on vocals. And Humble Pie, in its earliest incarnation, featured Peter Frampton, who also went on to a very successful solo career. And, of course, Marriott stuck with the band after that, and even after Humble Pie collapsed, there would be a few times when he'd reunite with the group or record other material until he tragically died in a fire in 1991. I'm not going to get too in-depth into Marriott's history because, well, the documentary does that. The documentary itself, I think, has a lot of good information. It clocks in at right around 70 minutes. Apparently, this is actually an older documentary, probably from about 20 years ago. There are a lot of interviewees in here that you will recognize from various other bands, including co-bandmates of Marriott from the past, and Kevin DuBrow from Quiet Riot even shows up in a few clips. Quiet Riot, particularly in their early years with Randy Rhoads, covered a lot of the old Small Faces tunes. There's also a combination of old photographs and some rare video footage of Marriott performing with the group. Unfortunately, the way this documentary is put together is kind of a mess, and I was actually pretty disappointed with it despite all the good information. It seems to me this stuff was handled by someone who just got a brand new computer graphic design video editing program, and they had to go through and use every goofy little video editing trick they possibly could. The thing that annoys me most about this package is just how they always have to throw a bunch of random distracting video noise and other effects into the matte bars of 4x3 content. This is extremely distracting and actually takes away more from the presentation than actually helps it. In one case, for instance, you actually have an effect going up and down the sides of the screen showing Humble Pie album covers, while a video when Peter Frampton was in the band still plays. The problem with this is they clearly show the Smokin' album cover here, which any fan of the band knows came out long after Frampton had departed the group. The picture quality is absolutely terrible. Obviously, when you're making something like this, it's a Frankenstein's monster of sorts, of stuff sourced from various materials, but I don't know if this is just because the stuff was shot on an inferior format, or if it's just very low quality footage they didn't clean up, but aside from the occasional still photographs that look pretty good, the photo quality on here is just an absolute disaster throughout. And for this being a Blu-ray disc, it falls well below every standard I have for a high-def presentation. The DVD copy on here is basically the same thing. This, of course, brings me to my next complaint. The DVD and the Blu-ray, the title of the package is very misleading. They do not contain video of the complete 1973 Winterland concert. You only get the concert in audio form on the CD. That's it. And this is just an old King Biscuit Flower Hour presentation that's actually been released several times over the years. In addition to the main presentation, there's actually some added questions that you can go on and watch the answers to. This actually clocks in at longer than the documentary itself, with even more interviewees throughout, and it's certainly interesting to hear their answers. And again, in a lot of cases, the picture quality is not the best, and so forth, which is not really all that hard to expect based on what we've seen here before. There's also, like I showed earlier, this directory of what's on the disc, and The organization of the menus on the discs themselves is kind of a mess because, like, where you find those question answers, that segment's, like, in a totally unexpected place. It claims there are hidden bonus features on here. I was not able to find anything like that, and I pushed the cursor on the remote every which way on every single menu on both the DVD and the Blu-ray, and I couldn't find anything extra. I've got to say, as much as I love Steve Marriott and Humble Pie, this package is really a disappointment, and the title is completely misleading. There is an audio-only track you can watch the documentary with, but if you're expecting complete video footage in Blu-ray, in high def, of the 1973 Winterland concert, again, you're going to be disappointed because the complete concert's only on the CD. Are you a fan of Steve Marriott or Humble Pie, and did you have a chance to check out this package yet? Obviously, I wasn't the biggest fan of the end result, even if there was some interesting information to be had here. But comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, subscribe to my channel and give this video a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson, and I'll see you in my next review.